Mics are hot.
And we're back.
We're back. You're in person.
Yep, in person.
It's doing something outside I haven't seen do here in a month or better.
I think 39 days or something. Somebody was keeping up with it.
Yeah,
I can remember they told me that. But
so everybody out there, if you hear a little noise, we're in our little lakeside studio, and this will be the first time we've tried to record with it raining, and it is a little noisy. So.
And we are happy and proud of it.
And I'm not, yeah. So if you're not getting rain, enjoy the sound of it hitting the metal roof.
Yes.
So, but tonight we got another guest all the way from the Montgomery area. I'll let him tell you where he's from. But we got Philip Morton from down that way, and he's got a special story we want to talk about, a young man that he's met and that kind of thing. And just... This guy's journey is an amazing story. A lot of you here's probably done read about it, but we'll get into that. I'll let him tell you about that. You there, Philip?
I am. Thanks for having me, guys.
Well, good deal. Before we get into all that with Grayson, let's talk about you a little bit. Tell us a little bio. Where you from? You know, of course, I kind of know what you do, and that's not really important out there. But you know, your hobbies and your family, and Lord bless you, special wife. I have to put up with you.
Well, she is a saint for sure. My name's Philip Morton. I'm originally was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and moved to Auburn, Alabama when I was a year old. Grew up in Auburn, the son of a academic advisor for the athletes at Auburn University, and went to Auburn High School and went on to Auburn University and graduated in physical education and became a coach and a teacher for about 11 years. And I currently work for the Alabama National Guard and serve currently 11 buildings across the central part of the state. I obviously an avid outdoorsman and have an 18-year-old son who's already a better outdoorsman than I ever will be, and married to a great lady who's an interior designer and an architecture firm here in Montgomery. We live in Pike Road, and passionate about conservation and passionate about obviously the wild turkey and deer as well. But these days I'm not as avid as a deer hunter as I once was, but I can go without a shotgun or what have you in the turkey woods every day of the season if that's, a possibility. I think I would hunt turkeys in July if I could. But
well, you're right up our alley.
Go ahead.
Nothing wrong with that for sure. You sound like us. You're just not as mad at the deer as you used to be.
No,
still mad at them turkeys.
Yes.
I tell everybody. I tell everybody I hate them. Hate turkeys, but I really love them. They right. So yeah, that's. Of course, a little bit of our history. We know each other through working. I've worked around you, for the state of Alabama and that kind of thing. That's how we actually met. And I guess our whole common thing together was basically turkeys in the outdoor world. And, in between trying to take care of problems, we get to talk a little hunting and that kind of thing. So we found out we got a lot of that in common. So.
Yeah, Anthony, I feel like if the state of Alabama knew how much time you and I spend talking turkeys as opposed to the National Guard and the work that you guys take care of, I might be in deep trouble.
But I can't bill you for it. That's the problem. That's the whole.
That's right.
But
I've been truly blessed, and I use the word industry. I worked at White Oak Plantation through college and Rock Fence Station both were phenomenal to me in the guide world, and it's nobody in my family hunted prior to me getting going, and I guess I started when I was around 15 deer hunting and probably 17 or 18 turkey hunting, and I'm 54 now, and I truly believe if we could hunt turkeys 365 days a year, I'd try to make it 350 of them, just more or less. I can go out there and just listen and hang out with my 18-year-old son, who is he is already a much better outdoorsman than I will ever be, and I don't have to kill a turkey to be satisfied. I've been so blessed to be able to go to South Dakota and Oklahoma and Ohio and lots of places that the average guy in Alabama doesn't get to go to, and I'm very, very appreciative of that.
Yeah, I was going to bring up, I thought you and I talked about, you did have a little brief brush with the outdoor industry, and of course working at White Oak, and I believe I actually hunted at White Oak. I know I hunted at Red Oak, or maybe it was White Oak, and I had a chance to hunt. Wasn't they all tied together at one time?
Yeah, yes. Red Oak was the sister company of White Oak, and I did more work actually over my 6 or 7 years at White Oak under the Red Oak umbrella. One of the sons of the owners ran the Red Oak portion of it, and it was a separate house and within about a mile of the main lodge there at White Oak. And
the White Oak Lodge, didn't it sit in front of a big lake? Am I at the wrong place? Okay, I am at the right place then.
Yeah, 13-acre lake there on the property right in front of the lodge. I actually got married there in October of. I'm about to get myself in trouble. 20 years ago, last month.
Okay,
October,
there we go.
20 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, she's in the kitchen, so I'm okay at the moment.
Well, hell, I don't even know what year I got married. The second time.
Well, I know somewhat of yours, so I can.
Yeah, I know.
If you can keep quiet, I can.
Well,
too.
she'll occasionally listen to one of these just so she can pick me apart on something. I think both our wives might occasionally. Maybe they talk. I don't know. Maybe one of them will listen and call the other one and cue them in. But
there you go.
I couldn't remember. I've hunted there, and I've hunted down at Pushmataha, and of course Westervelt. And I know it's nothing even close to like what White Oak was, but I couldn't remember. That's why I knew one of them had a big giant lake out in front of it. And thinking back, Pushmataha wasn't even. I mean, that was a nice place to hunt. And of course, they're still in operation, but White Oak was something special. It was a sad day when they kind of closed down operations.
Yeah, it was a tremendous. What built itself into a 5-star commercial lodge, and
everybody knew it. It was a.
Yep.
Of course, it's none of my business why it closed or whatever, but I'm sure. I mean, they stayed booked because I had to book my hunts to carry customers down there a year ahead of time. So
it was a phenomenal organization there, and Robert and Hilda Pittman did a masterful job of running the place, and along with three of their sons and the families, it was a whole lot of memories for sure.
I'll tell you what I thought the best part about that whole place was the food. I shouldn't say that. The deer hunt was great, but the food was just as good. So
yeah, the way we worked, I don't know how we didn't lose. I mean, it was some real hard summer afternoons there, but they fed us so well. They took care of us, and most of us were Auburn students, Auburn University being within 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
And so it was a special place and a special time in my life for sure.
Well, like you said, you've been blessed. I mean, you got blessed, I guess, just coming on over out of Baton Rouge, or I might not be even able to understand you. I don't know. You said your dad was, what did he do at Auburn?
He was an art teacher. At Auburn. He taught at Auburn and at Georgia and the University of New Orleans and Appalachian State, and worked in quite a few advertising agencies across the Southeast and Northeast, even Boston, New York, Cincinnati. His mainstay was New Orleans.
Was he from Louisiana?
He and my mother both grew up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Okay. He grew up in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Oh, yes.
My mom grew up in Long Beach, Mississippi, and that's another part of my life that was a great time. I grew up down there in the summers at my grandparents' house, and it has a special place for sure.
Well, you just had it in your DNA from the time you were born. I mean, from the saltwater and the Gulf to coming to Auburn or the Auburn area, and with all the deer and the turkey and the outdoors hip here. And of course, Louisiana's what are they? Sportsman's paradise. Yeah. So, I mean, there's no way you wouldn't go to come. I've got several friends that live over there. I can't believe you don't have us a place to go redfish down there.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. My son graduates in May, and we're doing a Chandelier Island trip for 3 days, speckled trout and red fishing. So we're looking forward to that. He hasn't gotten to spend a whole lot of time down that way because my grandparents have long since been gone.
Sure.
And we moved from Baton Rouge to the Auburn area when I was a year old. So anyway,
well, if he's not in the woods, he's on a baseball diamond. So
that's correct. He's being recruited. Actually, somewhat towards up in your area. We got a official visit next week at a junior college, and he really is very much interested in West Alabama over in Livingston to play over there. But anyway, he's a phenomenal young man that I'm probably too hard on, but I really don't know any other way. And good student and doesn't give me any trouble at all. So I've been blessed from that standpoint. I give his mama credit. I'll do the right thing and give her credit. How about that?
Yeah. That's what I used to tell my boys' mama. She'd get on me for being so hard on them, but I go, your job is to love them and baby them and keep them fed and clothed, and I'm going to try to make men out of them because they got to survive in this crazy world. Sounds like you've done a great job to me.
Well, I hope so. He's a good kid. I don't have any trouble with him at all, and he spends a lot of time helping me with different stuff at our place outside of Hurtsboro, Alabama, and he has no idea how much I appreciate it. But anyway, hopefully y'all will get to meet him soon.
I hope so. Maybe when some of y'all's visits up this way, we can kind of run into each other or something.
Absolutely.
And I assume because of your son and I guess athletics, baseball is how this all came together with the young man we're going to talk about a little bit tonight.
It absolutely is. And it's a very touching, emotional story that I try to keep my composure as much as I can when I talk about it, but it gives me chills. My son was invited to play in the Junior Futures games in Atlanta 4 years ago, and he was on Team Alabama with a young man named Grayson Pope from Hewitt-Trussville High School, and he got to know Grayson through that week-long tournament style baseball showcase, and they became friends, and it was, it was different states, teams against each other, that type of thing, and just more or less a showcase. But Grayson suffered a tragic accident that year before last in the summer, in June of, I guess it would be 23. He was on a golf course there outside of Trussville, or maybe they may have been in Trussville actually, but a storm came up. They had left baseball workouts, gone to the golf course, and a storm came up, and excuse me, they were racing to get back to the clubhouse, and a tree fell on his golf cart, and his best friend basically held him till the paramedics could get there and kept him intact. And he's been through 9 surgeries, and he's been in Shepherd Spinal Clinic in Atlanta for long periods of time through rehab. And we just decided, once we heard the story summer before last, that we were going to take our team. My son plays at Pike Road, and we were going to take our team up to Top Golf and invite him and his parents and any of his teammates that wanted to come. And we did. I would say 4 or 5 of his teammates came, and we spent 3 or 4 hours at Top Golf just visiting and getting to see each other again. And it kind of stemmed into, what can I do for this kid that and not me, I don't want to say me, my wife's been integral in this, and my son has, and what could we do to help this guy? There were stories throughout that day at Top Golf that, people had said, hey, I'd love to take Grayson hunting. Grayson Pope is the young man, and it's been a national story. Not my portion of this, but his story itself. Bruce Pearl has done video. Derek Jeter has done a video for him. This kid was committed to play baseball at Tennessee, and they've honored his scholarship, which, Grayson is a absolute marvel in his work ethic, trying to get back to the game of baseball. And he actually had his first at bat in a summer game this year. Now, they intentionally walked him, and he went to first, and they took him out over in Atlanta at one of the big venues there. And it, I'm a pretty soft-hearted guy, but it's one of these deals where I have to just catch myself thinking, what if this was my child? What if this was, I talk to his parents probably every other week, just keep in touch with him. And it's been something I've hoped for my son to be able to see how quickly life can change for somebody who had the world at his feet, so to speak.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, my understanding, did they keep him? He was in a coma for like 40 some odd days, right? Something like that.
Yes. It was. I'm not up on all.
Yeah, I had just read some of that and some of the reading. Of course I'd heard about it because it's close to here where I live, and
absolutely.
But it's like everything else, Tomorrow there's something new, So I was rereading some of it because he started. I mean, almost like a newborn. I mean, he had to learn to talk, to walk, to do it all, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He, to see the kid as an athletic, well put together kid, and 8 weeks to 10 weeks later looking like he did was it was almost unbearable at times. But his parents have been phenomenal. The community of Trussville has been unbelievable. They do fundraisers. They just recently had the second big pickleball tournament fundraiser, and he's just at 18 years old. He is unbelievable in his attitude, his work ethic. He will beg his dad, "Hey, let's go hit. Let's go do, what have you," and he will tell you that he's going to make it back. And so all you can do is commend him and hope and pray that, what he does. And Tennessee has honored his scholarship, and he spends a fair amount of time up there at football games and went to their signing day stuff. And when Tennessee and Alabama played baseball this year in Tuscaloosa, he threw out the first pitch, and he's become really close with Peyton Manning, and it's just a really, really, really good feel-good story, in my opinion, through tragedy.
So, where is he at physically now? I guess. I mean, and I don't mean this to sound like it sounds mentally. I mean, he's on his way to graduate. This, I assume he's a senior this year as well.
Yes, he is.
He's worked hard. Then, if he's come that far and it didn't get held back in school, he's done his schoolwork. He's doing all these workouts and working on his technique. So that right there tells you about all you need to know about him.
I would encourage anybody who listens to this to go out and Google the Grayson Pope story. The attitude is what is just phenomenal.
There's a lot of short clips on the
right. There are clips and that are just phenomenal. His mother does a really good job of posting from the time it all began to current, with videos over in Shepherd Spinal Clinic in Atlanta, for example. She puts them to music and all that kind of stuff. And I strongly recommend anybody to go out and look at it. It's quite the feel-good story, as awful as the story began.
So tell us a little bit about what you guys have planned for him.
Well, I've been so blessed, guys, in this outdoor world, and in the places I've gone and the people I've met. And when my son was playing at Auburn High School a couple years ago, he became really, really close to a couple of guys that I've known all my life. Will Herring, who played football at Auburn for the Saints in Seattle, and his brother Rusty Herring own a piece of what used to be Enon Plantation right outside of Hurtsboro, Alabama. And Enon has been auctioned off in large blocks since it went away from a commercial, probably the finest bow hunting destination without question in Alabama, but one of the finest bow hunting destinations that there's ever been in the South. Once it began to be auctioned off, Will and Rusty, they bought 1,100 acres. Frank Plan, who owns Stone Martin Builders, has a piece. Michael Dilworth with Dilworth Builders owns, I think he's upwards of 4,000 acres. But long story short, I've gotten to be, back in the day, I refereed Will and Rusty's high school football and baseball games, got to know them. They're from the sister town, Opelika, Alabama, that I'm from Auburn. And we've formed a friendship and a bond. And after the Top Golf day we had summer before last, I just started kind of brainstorming, and I knew Grayson loved the outdoors, and didn't know what all would be involved in terms of for him to be able to come down and hunt, but I knew I wanted him to. And I continued, staying in communication with his dad. And I finally just said, listen, his dad is a really, really genuine guy. I just told him, I said, I would love nothing better than to have Grayson come down and spend a long weekend, and I can get these guys who own these places and phenomenal deer hunting to put him on some really good hunts. And we've got that organized December 6th through the 8th, and we're going to be staying at the original Enon plantation, and we're as tickled as we can be about what we're able to help him with, and hopefully it's going to be a success.
So is this going to be, well, I'm assuming this will be a firearm hunt, or is he going to
Absolutely.
be doing,
Absolutely. Yeah. It's Enon is at one time was 20,000 acres.
Right.
And, it's like I said, it's been broken up, but it's as beautiful a place in my mind as we have in this state. Sedgefield Seahoy Plantation is across the highway that divides them, and it's another just absolutely gorgeous place, the Lanier Zone. And anyway, it's phenomenal outdoor property, and we're so blessed to be able to spend time down there with some of the kids of the owners my son has played baseball with over the years and is friends with, and it's a true blessing to be able to spend time there with these people, and they're so gracious to allow us to put this hunt together for Grayson, and his dad will be there, and we'll do some fellowshipping in the middle of the day and at night. Hopefully, going to have a little acoustic music Saturday night, and just hope. I've got a photographer I'm lining up, so I will certainly get y'all some pictures if you want to see them and that kind of stuff. But anyway, we're really looking forward to it.
And when is it going to be? When's the hunt?
It is December 6th through the 8th.
Okay.
Right outside of Hurtsboro, Alabama.
That sounds like that's going to be a good time there.
Yeah, my prior to getting into the world I work in now, I was a teacher and a coach for 11 years, and my passion is getting kids to be what they should be, and doing things for kids that don't have the opportunities. And down the road, I would really love to try to put together some type of organization for kids in Grayson's situation, as well as kids who don't have the ability financially or the backing or what have you to get in the outdoors. That's really, really what my passion is. So,
yeah, we got some friends up here, Mike Wells and
Chris Goodwin.
They have a thing. What is it? The North Alabama
Outdoor Sportsman.
Outdoor Sportsman, and one of their key objectives in the whole process is just getting those kids, the ones that parents may not hunt or they just have issues, and trying to get them outdoors. Dustin and I both have volunteered to, if they get somebody that we'll try to carry them or get them out somewhere, or if they've got a piece of property and they need an extra, body to sit with them and go with them. So there is all they tell us about how bad the world is and our country is, our state is, and we're full of good people. And
there is no question, Anthony, no question.
And sportsmen, some of the best of them. So, it's a great thing because like I said, we're not involved with them, but some friends of ours. I don't know if you've ever heard of the KT team over in Georgia, but they put on a lot of handicap hunts. They're all and
they just done a big deer hunt this past weekend.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with them, but I do. I have quite a few friends in the outdoor world over in Georgia. Yeah. I will take
a look. KT himself, he's a world champion turkey caller and
fantastic guy.
Super guy. Jam up. We went down, and I don't participate in it, but or do any calling in contests, but we went down in support of our friends from over in Georgia, and he was there. Actually, he won the wing bone trumpet, whatever they call it now. I mean,
that's really neat.
It's they're not that super far really from you guys. They're in southern Georgia, of course, but I mean, you're a lot closer to them than we are. But yeah, there's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good. And
yes, absolutely.
But there's a lot of room. I mean, if it's something you're that passionate about and want to do, there's plenty of room for it because there's a lot of people out there needing help.
This industry, and I say this industry, the outdoor industry, to me, has as many really down to earth, salt of the earth, good people in it. It sometimes, there's the ones that kind of get tarnish it, but I think that by and large that the majority are really good people involved. And
you're right. I mean, but there's good and bad in every walk of life. I mean, from churches to the sporting world to just to everyday people. I mean, but I still think the majority of us are good people. Good people that are willing to help.
That's absolutely.
We've proved that, or people have proved that with what went on with Helene. All that. Man, the thousands of people in the Carolinas and Georgia and Florida that was suffering. Man, people just turned out. It's it just makes my heart feel good, and same way with this thing going on with Grayson. I mean, it's just phenomenal that somebody that didn't have to do anything has went out and decided to do something and acted on it. And I know it's not just you; it's those guys that own the property, and of course, Grayson's parents are just having to go through all of this. I can't imagine. We all have kids. Dustin has a couple. I've got 2 sons and 2 daughters, and I couldn't imagine something like that happening and what it would, put you through.
Yeah, Anthony, I think it really puts life in perspective, and what's important and what's really not important, to be honest with you. Grayson, I think that the biggest part about Grayson Pope to me is his attitude. He begs his parents after he's been rehabbing to go do more. He will tell you he's going to play baseball again. And I know come December 6th through the 8th, I'm going to be at times an emotional wreck, and I have to step out, and take a deep breath and hope and pray that Mother Nature allows Grayson to harvest a deer and he'd be happy with it. I've told my son and my wife, if there's only 2 things I want through this whole ordeal. One is a picture with Grayson and his deer, and 2 is for Grayson Pope to come back and hunt with us again. That's all I care about.
Now, has he ever hunted before? Will this be?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
He has. I think I haven't gotten into the weeds, so to speak, with his dad on how much, or I know he has harvested a deer or 2 from my understanding, but I don't know how much. I want to bring up another thing that's been just phenomenal. Being that both my son and Grayson are baseball guys, and we had a chance to go over to a Braves weekend this summer, and went into the Sitka store there at the Battery, and long story short, a fella who is going to try to make it over for the hunt, who works for Sitka. He's the general manager there of the store, the Sitka store in the Battery. He ended up gifting Grayson over $1,100 worth of Sitka gear.
Wow,
that's nice.
And he the local hunting store Tyler Rentals here in Opelika, Auburn, Opelika, got him a pair of boots, and then Panola brand is over in West Alabama is supposed to be getting hats and stuff for this get together. It is. You really find out through things like this the kind of people there are in this world, guys. It's. I have to pinch myself and realize, hey, maybe I wasn't such a knucklehead when I was younger, and I learned a few things. But it's been a phenomenal 6 to 8 weeks for me, 3 months or whatever, getting this put together. My son Hunter has been instrumental in getting all this done. He and Grayson have a great relationship still through baseball, and I don't want it to get here because I don't want it to end, but I'm so eager for it to get here, if that makes any sense.
Well, like you said, maybe it'll be the first of many.
Yeah.
So
start an annual tradition type thing.
Yeah. I that's truly when I retire. That is truly what I want to do. I mean, I've spent a lot of time with one of my mentors, Ron Jolly, which I know y'all know who I'm talking about, and learned so much about the outdoor world. I was blessed beyond measure to do some videoing for him. And, he's taught me so much. I was on the board of Turkeys for Tomorrow for a while with him. And Ron is who should be given the credit for Turkeys for Tomorrow. There's just no other way to put it. But learned so much from him. And he lives within about 30 minutes of us, right out between Tuskegee and Shorter, and I still call on him on a fairly regular basis. I'm no longer on the board at TFT, but they've done some phenomenal things. And anyway, I'm eager for, like I said, I'm eager for this hunt for Grayson, and it's what I really want to do down the road for mainly for kids who either don't have the opportunity or have some type of handicap or accident or what have you, to get these kids out. And I just fully believe that whether it be sports or the outdoors, we got to get kids active. I just believe that.
No, 100%. Too many just sit in the house and play video games, and they don't know what the outside world is.
They don't really have no social anymore unless it's text.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like text
between smartphones, video games, school takes up a lot of time. I mean, and so many parents now, both parents work. A lot of them have no clue about the outdoors. They may play golf or something, and there's nothing wrong with golf. Don't get me wrong, but to go out and like you don't even, like you said, you don't have to carry a gun. Just go out and sit and watch the world wake up. It's just a blessing that so many people have no clue about.
Guys, I can't think of anything more relaxing and enjoying and exactly what you're saying, Anthony. I don't deer hunt anywhere near like I used to anymore, but I still spend time on the porch of our little camp and if I want to go hunting, occasionally I will, but I just think that there's not many better ways to ease your mind and think. And, hopefully one day you two guys will come down and we'll sit on the porch. And if we decide to go hunting, fine. If we don't, fine.
Heck yeah. That sounds like a plan. We'll make that work some way, somehow. Of course, me and you've talked about it now for a couple, 2 or 3 years, and it seems like we're always going in different directions. So,
yeah. Well, I got to get to your star quality there. I got to reach that level to be able to hang in that circle.
Well, I'm going to put out a video series on how to how to make it. Yeah, how to be an air conditioning guy and put on a podcast that's got 3 or 4 listeners to it. So that's what we call the Meeting Two Nation, all 3 of them. So
there you go. There you go. Well, I make 4. How about that?
There you go. Oh, and to go back, we're just talking about Ron Jolly. That man called me. I don't know if you had anything to do with it or not. I was in the middle of, I hadn't joined yet. When it was in its infancy then. And you talk about a super dude. I mean, just out of the blue call. Me and him, I stood right down there by. Yeah, I live on the lake. I was standing by the lake, and I bet we talked for 30 to 45 minutes about everything. And from turkey hunting to what the organization was, to about him and Tess and what Tess does. I mean, we didn't even mention his wife, really, and she's a phenomenal photographer. I was
unbelievable.
I don't know if I was telling Dustin that or somebody else at work, maybe at work, but I said, if you see a beautiful picture of a gobbler in a magazine, or especially, Mossy Oak Gamekeeper stuff, 9 times out of 10, she took that picture. And
you're exactly right, Anthony. She is phenomenal. I actually called Ron yesterday, I believe, or maybe the day before, and they were in separate blinds on their property about 30 minutes from here, taking still photographs. And I was, I told Ron, I said, hey, just call me back when you get out of the blind. He's blind. And he said, no, let's look, what's going on? Let's talk. But he is without question, he and Tess both are without question, as to me, as unbelievable writers, photographers, outdoors people as there is. And Ron deserves all the credit for putting Turkeys for Tomorrow together. I mean, he
I agree. Does. And there was some rough, rocky road times when the organization was first coming into its being, just because of jealousy from other outside groups and people. And if it hadn't done anything else, which just done a ton of good, it's brought attention to the wild turkey. I mean, and the problems they're having, I think I really and truly believe we're over the top of the hill of this decline, and things are looking up for everything. But to get so much research, I listen to Turkey Science. I don't know if you listen to that podcast or not, with Will Goolsby and all that, but Turkeys for Tomorrow sponsors that. And
yep,
I think
Goolsby's
super guy. Phenomenal. Him and his partner from Gainesville down in Florida, and I've learned so much. But that wouldn't even have happened if Turkeys for Tomorrow wasn't here. I mean, they're the backbone of that show. And
I was a fledgling on that board. I was a peon, but I learned more through that time period. Not just about turkey hunting, but conservation, funding. It was a great time. The first 2 meetings were at White Oak Plantation. The first year and the second year, and it started off, it was 14 total people 2 ladies and 12 guys in a round table discussion in the main lodge. And it opened my eyes to so many things that I had no idea about. And it was just great learning about all the stuff. And I actually when I was in college at Auburn, had the chance to work with Ron and Tess in the video world. And Ron is, he was with Primos for 7 years and their lead cameraman. And if there's something to know about a camera, that guy can tell you. And hoisting a $30,000 camera up in a tree with him looking over your shoulder was a little bit nerve-wracking at times.
And that's back in the day when those cameras weighed 50 pounds apiece without the batteries in
big
them.
as about half the size of a big screen TV.
Yeah.
There was some nerve-wracking moments in the dark. We spent some unbelievable days over in the Selma area, and over in the Mississippi River doing some video at Willow Point. And Ron Jolly is, if you can show me somebody better in the outdoor world, I just don't know how it can happen. He in the video end of it for sure. And great writer.
I'm certainly hoping one of these days we'll get him on. Him and Tess, or Tess alone. I listened to Tess, the Gamekeeper podcast, had her on a few months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned so much about her. And of course, she just calls him Jolly, so.
Yeah, that's what we all call him.
And, their history and how they met and then how she got into photography. It's amazing. It's amazing. Both of them are amazing people.
Absolutely. I owe Ron, Jolly, and Tess for that matter. I actually met them at White Oak Plantation when I was working there. They were coming there, and Ron asked me if I was interested in helping run the camera. So I'm learning about it. And he'll tell you that it was the roughest year of his life trying to get me to understand that camera. But
matter of fact, I think he did tell me that.
Yeah, well, he doesn't pull any punches, and I'm glad he doesn't. But he taught me more than he even knows he taught me.
Well, I know it's deer season, but turkey season's always on my mind. Mm-hmm. And we get accused of talking turkey a whole lot, and of course, I knew we'd get around to turkeys and everything else on this. Oh, what was that? I didn't drop anything today. I usually drop something. I heard something I thought something hit the floor, but it's still pouring down rain here too, by the way. So
I wish y'all pushed some down this way.
At least my seed up behind my shop, it did come up, but I hope it really comes together now. And I hope some, like I said, I wish the whole state would just get blanketed. We need some rain. Mm-hmm. Just a good, and this is perfect. It's just been kind of a slow, steady, not no heavy downpours tonight. So if it'll do that until 2 or 3 in the morning, I'll be more than happy. And hopefully get all the way over to Auburn. But man, I was looking at that future radar, and it don't look good even for Selma. It's like it's just evaporating away as it crosses the state line.
I don't think we have to worry about it over this way.
Well, look, we've probably held you on here long enough. I guess it'd be a good place to kind of bring the train into the station, for lack of better words. But is there anything we've missed or didn't ask, or you want to tell us?
The only thing that I would encourage both you guys to do is to get to know Grayson Pope and the story more than you already do. I'm excited about December 6th through the 8th, and it's a passion of mine to try to get kids in the outdoors, and I certainly appreciate y'all having me on, and hopefully you guys will take the invitation that I'm throwing out there and come down and
oh yes,
hang out at the camp and we'll we'll solve the world's problems, and we might even go deer hunting or turkey hunting or fishing or whatever you guys want to do. We can make all that happen. You just got to get down and spend a little quality time outside of Hurtsboro, Alabama.
Well, that sounds like a plan. Anytime somebody says something about turkey hunting, I think we'll open up the calendar. We'll figure out something. I mean,
please do.
Well, I mean, we're like you. We've been blessed. We get to we started a journey 4 years ago now, and traveling around. It's not as expensive as people think. It does take planning. You're not always successful, but we've been blessed. We've been out in Oklahoma and Texas and South Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska. We actually doubled up on turkeys in Tennessee this year.
Florida.
Yep, Florida. So we've got to see and meet. And I'll tell you, doing this, I never would have believed it, especially as a little tiny podcast like this. But we have met so many great people that no other way will we have met them. And I'm not saying, not necessarily saying famous people, just good people.
Good people, absolutely. Well, the last thing I do want to say is I would encourage you guys to promote the Grayson Pope story, because this kid, it'd be different, guys, if he was, it was like his attitude wasn't as good as it is, and it just blows my mind that an 18-year-old kid can go through what he's been through and have the kind of mindset he does. And I look forward to him coming down, spending time with us, and you two guys as well in the future.
Well, he sounds like a young man. Whether it's baseball or anything, he's going to succeed in life. He's too driven. Sounds like he's just too driven. So he's got a bright future, no matter where the Lord leads him to.
That's right. That's right. I certainly appreciate y'all having me on, and hopefully down the road in the not too distant future, we'll sit down on the porch and solve the world's problems.
Well, we will. I'd like to get you back on when we get closer to spring. I've been playing with some ideas of maybe just doing a little short 10-minute talks with different people that are obsessed with turkeys like we are, and kind of get an idea of, how your spring's going to go and what your plans are. And, we've met so many people doing. Yeah. Just kind of, how you get fired up. Cause once February's here, I'm not thinking much about anything else. Matter of fact, we're probably going to sit here tonight. We're going to try to go to Michigan and actually probably go to Ontario, believe it or not, this coming spring. If I can get somebody to get his passport in here and we can figure out how to get our guns across that border, that's the hardest thing for Canada.
That's right.
But I've got a good friend up there. He's got the turkeys. I didn't even know this turkeys, and to be honest with you, I don't know why I didn't, but I met him up there on a fishing trip. And he said, "Yeah, you should come to my farm." He said, "I'm covered up with turkeys." I said, "In Ontario?" And yeah. So, we got a big year headed. Yeah. Our plans this year is Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, and maybe Canada. I don't know if we'll get all 4 of them in or not, but we're working on it. Right now, it's so hard to schedule because some of their seasons aren't even out yet. So
that's right. I'm going back to South Dakota and then Kentucky, I think. But anyway, guys, let's make a point to get together and.
Okay.
And I will look forward to talking to y'all again on the podcast, possibly in January, February sometime.
Okay. Sounds like a plan.
Down the road.
Hey, we appreciate you being here, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. You guys take care, and thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Well,
I think that was pretty interesting. That's going to be a good time for that young man. It sounds like they got people coming into the camp. That's going to be a lot of.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys that own it, they played football for pro leagues and college, and
And they're going to want to show him a good time. Whether the deer moving, or it's pouring down rain, or it's beautiful weather and the deer are chasing.
Something like that, it really don't matter if a deer's harvested or whatever. I mean, being in deer camp is what makes deer hunting. That's just all they are to it. Sitting around the old campfire and, the meals you eat.
The meals you eat, the stories you tell. I mean,
the jokes, the pranks.
The pranks, breaking out a deck of cards, whatever you do. I mean, everybody does it. I'm trying to get our little place. Them boys down there, they're all young boys. I'm kind of the old man. Heck, I was the old man of this conversation again tonight. I got to get Eddie back on here so somebody be older than me. But they swear they got their poker chips on the table in the camp house, and we got the refrigerator set up. I would tell them stories. We'd get out there at night. We'd play poker. And I was a young man then. I've been down there for 20 some odd years, but you get them old men playing poker, you keep them up to midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. They ain't getting up to go hunting. But man, back then I was smoking cigarettes. Everybody was smoking cigarettes, drinking beer, playing cards, cheating, seeing if you could get caught cheating. We had one old boy go outside for whatever reason, probably just go to the bathroom or something, but we'd jerk out one of these cigarettes and take the tobacco out and pop the end off a 22 and pour that gunpowder down in there and fill it back up. And we'd pack that thing, and it might take him an hour to get smoked where he pulled that cigarette out of that pack, because it would never be the next one for some reason. But we was just waiting on it.
You remember them little pop things you could stick in the end of a cigarette and they'd blow the cigarette up?
Yeah.
Man, those were always fun.
See, we didn't have them, so we just had to break into a 22 shell. Let me tell you, when that gunpowder goes off and it's about, a quarter, half-inch thick, because, a little cigarette will hold it'll hold the whole 22. I can tell you, it'll hold the whole 22 powder. I mean, it's just a flame and smoke, and just a look on. This happened to this guy all the time. And he'd do it every
and never
time,
take his cigarettes with him.
No. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff that'll go on. Well, maybe not them on Grayson's hunt, but that's what makes deer hunting special. Different than turkey hunting, because generally there ain't as many people.
Yeah.
For so many years, and still for the most part, it's kind of a solo hunt. I mean, I know you and I hunt together, but we still break apart. Yeah. I mean, you go hunt your spots.
Depends on the situation
and
how bad hungry we are. Like we got to get after them,
So anyway, it was a good conversation. He just sounds like a fine young man.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe we'll get him back for a short update after that hunt. Or, I know you'll be in touch with him because you guys work together or around each other, but maybe on our social media stuff, he can get you some pictures and clips and let us be uploading them. And I
meant to ask him if somebody was going to be videoing it, and surely they will be.
I think he said Ron's wife.
Oh, well, then it's going to be quality.
Yeah. I think that's what he said, and don't hold me to that, but I think, but that's, I mean, it's going to be, if he's been planning it, he sounds like he's a logistics guy. It's going to be planned out to the T. They're going to make it good for the kid.
It'll be a good time, and I give him all the credit in the world, because that's something you don't have to do. That's just it's got to be something inside you that makes you do stuff like that. I mean, it's true for any of them. I mean, like Mike and Chris, what they're trying to do, what KT does down there in Georgia, what the Talk About It Outdoors guys working with KT and their fundraisers. I hope one day that
cousin them on their turkey hunts and their,
I just hope one day we'll get enough of a following out here that when we put the call out, we can get the help or the whatever it takes to do something like that.
I wish one of these days we get enough phone that one of these guys would call and say, "Hey, would y'all come down and help us?"
Yeah,
I would love to. And I'm sure. There's probably some more involvement, and me and you kind of getting to where we could probably break loose. We volunteered to help Eddie with his deer hunt, and he told us he appreciated it, and if he needed somebody, he'd call us, and I feel like he would have.
Oh, I think so.
So hopefully that hunt went good, and
don't it go on the whole?
They come in on like Wednesday.
I talked to Todd today.
Oh, okay.
He went down there. I think he went hunting today. He let him go hunt, but I think he was carrying some product and that kind of stuff too.
I saw that where he tagged it.
Yeah. So, and I told him, go ahead and plan a route to finish up this direction one Thursday, or if we can make it work, as long as he gives us a heads up, to come back in studio now that it's deer season and, mineral licks, and he'll know more than anybody to me, kind of slows down this time of the year, but he's got an attractant that's also good for the deer. It's not just something poured out to get them to come in like a pile of corn.
I see where he's coming to Coleman tomorrow.
Yeah.
And, working his way to Madison or something. So I should have got in touch with him. I want to try some of that Complete or whatever he's got.
Text him. He's out there packing it up right now. I guarantee you.
What flavors? Do you know what all flavors?
He had persimmon, I think some apple, the peanut butter. He may have another one.
What did you try?
I tried the peanut butter.
They liked it.
Well, you see the videos where they're standing there licking their nose and $2? That's what they're in. The feeder's behind them. They're not over there eating in the corn.
Yeah.
If there's any left, by the time they come through, them does have done wipe most of it out.
Yeah, they've ate all my sweet potatoes.
I may have
already.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's supposed to be a month's supply, is what my guy told me. He said that'll be a month's worth right there, and I said okay, perfect. And that was on Friday night. I went and hunted Sunday.
You need to tell me a week tomorrow?
Yeah.
You need to do some thinning out, sounds like to me. You're feeding a lot of mouths.
Yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes. I may thin one out this weekend.
Well, I've supposedly supposed to work, but I was told today they acted surprised.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was
supposed to be working this weekend, and, I don't know necessarily. Well, it was parking's very tight, so the extra truck, they ain't nowhere to park, and, they already got 4 hands up there in that building.
You're going to be in the way.
And, I can't hardly keep my mouth shut. If nobody can figure out, I like to be pointing and telling and grabbing and doing. And listen, I've been there. I'll do the same thing. Me and my top guy today was talking about it when on my way home. I said, I felt the same way when my partner, he had moved out and in the office, but I was still running the truck and we were doing jobs, and he would show up to help and kind of try to take it over, because we all do things different ways. If I could drive a track hoe, I'd probably do things different than how you do it, So he would have his way of put a unit in or tear something out, and then, you end up kind of getting aggravated. But what can you say? Because it's the boss.
Well, you got good guys.
So I got great guys. I told him, I said, I'm not going nowhere this weekend because my plans were to be up there. I said, I'll be at home because they not only are they tearing out some stuff, they got to get a unit back up and running at the same time. I said, you need something, I can open up a supply house, go get parts, run them by and just drop them, whatever you need. If you fill up the trailer and need another trailer, I'll hook my trailer and I'll be up there, and we'll just block the road while you throw it in the trailer, and I'll pull on off. So
I got that dump trailer.
Yeah. So the whole problem is they're just nowhere to park.
Yeah.
That's why we're having to do it. They're actually going to start tomorrow and hopefully get all the demo ready to come out and then work all day Saturday. Hopefully we won't even have to work Sunday. So maybe dress things up Monday.
Rather than we may sneak off for a hunt this weekend.
May get to
local.
Maybe throw a broadhead at something.
Yeah. Thin them mouths out. We're talking about.
Yeah. My wife, and I know we're not running too long. We got this past deer season, and I'm not ever going to do this again with anybody that does this. And I think we talked about it, but I got some, I'm not going to say bad ground beef like it's runt. Runt. Like maybe Alex would say runt.
That's what I say.
But anyway, but you can tell it's from a buck. I mean, it smells so strong when you open the package up. There's nothing you can do to it. We were going to throw it out. And because we even gave some to the kids, and it was like, what is wrong with this stuff? We can't eat it. Mm-hmm. And I told her, I said, well, why don't you just cook it up and make dog food out of it?
Mm-hmm.
So, man, if you walked in my house right now, the whole counter's thawing out. Tomorrow is the day. She's cooking it down. She went and got all the vegetables you mix in with it. She's bought some kind of vitamin, something supplement that goes in it. And she says she can package this stuff up. I don't know what size bags. And, of course, we'll vacuum seal them. Put them in the freezer in one bag. She said she'll be able to feed the dogs for a week out of. At probably a third of what the dog food she buys cost.
Well, and the vitamin and the health values of it's going to be so much higher too.
Well, now she's not factoring in though my time out in the woods,
or what it costs you to kill that deer.
Suffering out there. Well, not just sitting in the stand. I was on the tractor,
the dragging,
the gutting, the processing. I didn't process the deer. I carried it to the processor. That's why we got the stinky ground meat. So my ground meat days from a processor, and I'm not throwing off on processors, where they just weigh up the meat.
Right.
And say, okay, give him 10 pounds of,
that ain't gonna work.
20. I'm not doing it anymore. And if it's my deer, and I think they do that at Weaver's. It's just your meat. I'm not 100% sure at Weaver's, but I know Miller's down there did.
Brothers does in Coleman.
Brothers, it's your deer.
My guy Brown's over there in the forest. He does it.
Well, I've got to find somebody up this way anyhow.
Yeah.
Probably Brothers.
Yeah. Go check Chris and Craig out, man. They do a good job.
So, no, my brother carries his deer up there.
Yeah.
And
I was with him.
Well, even over Miller's. What's his
I was
first
with
name?
him the first. Mike. I was with him the first year they started that. So on our off days, we were all deputies together. So that's what we did on our
off days. Y'all all gutted deer and cut them up.
Yeah, yeah. And we would sneak off to hunt every now and then on Saturday morning, and one of their wives would be good enough to go open them up and tag the deer and write down what you want. We'd come back and it'd just be piled up. We'd have to start in on them. But
I had a good friend. They started. I say a good friend. I went to school with his sister, so we went. He was older than me, and him and his buddy started a processor over toward Rickwood Caverns, back down that way. And man, it was excellent. It was your deer start to finish. They did a little bit of skull work, European stuff, or as the meat eater people call it, freedom mounts. He would call it European mounts. He called it freedom mounts. Uh-huh. So anyway, I think what he discovered though is when you're running a processing plant, or you don't get to hunt.
It's like having.
He's a big time hunter.
It's like having poultry houses. You never leave.
I went to pick up, I guess, my last deer I carried over there, and I had him go ahead and do a couple of Euro or Freedom mounts.
Skull mounts.
Because I do them myself 99 times out of 100. I just didn't have time, and I thought, well, I'll give him a little extra money. It wasn't expensive. And I said, man, I'm looking forward to bringing you some next year. He said, you won't be bringing none here. He said, matter of fact, anybody wants to buy this equipment. Because he didn't have the time. And they were working 7 days a week. It just don't stop.
No, and it's amazing how many people call at 11 o'clock at night. Hey, I got this deer. Well, when would you be here with it? Well, I'm in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. No.
You hear that clicking?
I do. We're going to remember the night it done this, we had to shut the board down.
Well, let's close it on up. I won't even beg tonight. I don't feel like it'd be right after a story like that. But Apex, Mossy Oak, anybody out there, we're here. All right. You got anything else?
No. Thank y'all for listening.
We'll see you in about a week.
Yep.